You know what's funny? Certainly not Kathy Griffin, but there is a segment of the Democratic base that is seemingly twisting itself into knots, trying to make logical sense of why they lost so massively, and I think this is Kathy Griffin's best work. She takes the prize for the most ridiculous theory yet. Apparently she's found a new scapegoat in Taylor Swift and is just as hopeless as it sounds. Watch this for yourself because there's so much that I need to tell you about.
Have plans, make sure you know how to gather support if you're afraid to walk down the street. Get more politically active. Not sure what's going to happen in my lifetime, but the kids will figure it out. And I know this will get me in trouble, but I really, really wish Taylor Swift had done an event with Vice President Harris in Pennsylvania 2 months ago. Okay, I just had to say that because she is so powerful, and it's not fair that the weight of the world should be on a pop star's shoulders. I just did not realize how racist and misogynistic America still is. So, we're in this together. Open-minded people that are loving. We're not in it together with the other team that wants to kill trans people and have more guns in grade schools. No. But we like-minded folks just want a peaceful, healthy, progressive country. And we will keep doing what we have to do to keep it alive, even though it looks a little dark today.
What is it with these people? Did they not get the memo after this election that America doesn't want more of the same? And considering the kind of celebrity-centric campaign that Kamala Harris rather than voter-centric bringing out Taylor Swift would have done nothing more than what a rapping Eminem or twerking Megan Thee Stallion couldn't do. Not just that, but since the only thing people remember about Kathy Griffin anymore is the infamous photo shoot she did 7 years ago, you'd have to be really tone deaf to think celebrities even have that much sway anymore in national politics. That's of course the epiphany she had when forced to apologize for it, along with a hopeless attempt at gaslighting the people criticizing her for that egregiously offensive photo shoot.
What's happening to me has never happened ever in the history of this great country, which is that a sitting president of the United States and his grown children and the First Lady are personally, I feel, trying to ruin my life forever.
By the way, this is a great time to subscribe and hit the notification bell because we've got our eyes where the mainstream media will not look. Now, even if we were to give Kathy some benefit of the doubt, I think the bubble of hype that was created around Taylor Swift's political endorsement has popped in this election as well. So no, a music performance at a Kamala Harris rally would have only made the Democrats seem even more out of touch with the woes of the American people, rather than translating into votes at the ballot box. And that's because in times of desperation, people seek answers and solutions, not distractions. Not to mention, can you imagine that terrible look it would have been for the Democratic Party financially? I mean, right in the first month after the election, some pretty disturbing and infuriating details have come out about how disastrously the Harris campaign was run and how it burned through over $1 billion of money that people donated in 3 months. Just this month, we found out that the cost of the campaign, including town halls and celebrity performances, were much greater than initially anticipated, including the $1 million paid to Oprah Winfrey's production company, which actually turned out to be $2.5 million as reported by the New York Times. Can you imagine if the Democrats had to splurge millions of dollars more to get Taylor on the campaign? Plus, if you look at some of the polls coming out before the election, places like YouGov revealed that Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala Harris had actually worked to turn away more potential voters from Kamala than it attracted, with just 8% of voters admitting that it would have positively impacted their decision, while 20% claimed they were somewhat or much less likely to vote for the candidate that some rich celebrity demanded them to. But of course, for someone like Kathy Griffin, perhaps that's a convenient way to rationalize the electoral defeat and stay sane in the face of it.
Okay, you know what? We're going to keep fighting. And, Trump will crumble. I mean, he's not looking too healthy these days. And then President Vance will be terrifying and horrible because he's as crazy as Trump, but he's smart. So, and the way things are going in this country could then get reelected. We could have President Vance for 8 years, which I kind of wish some of my friends had thought about yesterday that weren't voting. So now we're paying the price, and freedom isn't free, and we've been free, and technically we're still a democracy. The inauguration is going to be a show. Remember how crazy his speech was last time? American carnage and all that stuff. Even George W. Bush famously said that was some weird shit. It's going to be weirder and scarier. But I just want to put this out there again. Gays, you may not be safe. So to be gay in America, much less trans, because they're obsessed with trans people, to be LGBT in America is not going to be a safe thing anymore. So to be a woman in America will be even less safe than it already is. So take care of each other.
Wait a second, we've seen this movie play out before in 2016. Just the sheer irony of hearing these words from someone who literally held up an image of a disembodied head of a president as a joke is truly incredible, especially to see her complain about incivility in politics. And by the way, this is a pretty real fear that the figures of the far left have, that Donald Trump is going to open the floodgate to many more such characters, even if he's no longer eligible to run for office after this term. And in a political climate where the Democrats are frantically searching for a name and a face to carry them for the next decade, it must be truly something to realize that there's several successors in line for Donald Trump. Interestingly enough, this is a sentiment that's not just expressed for J.D. Vance, who's being touted as the most logical successor to Trump in 2028, but also people like Vivek Ramaswamy, many decades ahead. Van Jones last year made quite a splash when he launched this attack against Vivek, and I think it's a similar sentiment of paranoia that you see coming from Kathy Griffin.
And the smug, condescending way that he just spews this poison out is very, very dangerous, because he won't stop Trump. But he's going to outlive Trump by about 50 years. And you're watching the rise of an American demagogue that is a very, very despicable person. Yeah. And I was shaking listening to him talk, because a lot of people don't know that is one step away from Nazi propaganda coming out of his mouth.
But of course, just like Kathy, Van Jones had to tone it down when he realized the kind of political climate he was contributing to. Also, much like Kathy's distasteful and disgraceful joke against Trump, Vivek claims he faced threats against his life after being declared a new demagogue like this, which is a result of the political heat created, even if people like Kathy and Van aren't directly to blame for it. But let me know in the comments how you process all of this, because clips like this show you just how long the modern Democratic Party has to go before it can hope to win back the electorate with genuine policy positions rather than empty scaremongering.